Shalom, 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 shalom. Today, this morning, we also have breaking news coming from China. We've been following this together on this channel. The trade war with the US and China and partially the EU and basically every country across the globe, because the current administration in America said that everybody across the globe gets at least a 10% tariff, but China had higher tariffs. It started at like 45 or 54%, something around those numbers. But then recently, a few days ago, that administration manipulated the market, did a complete, pulled the rug under people's feet and just completely flipped everything. And so he let go of tariffs, or at least paused them for 90 days for every country that was supposed to get them, except China. But in this video, you're gonna hear a perspective that you have not heard. Most Americans are like, this is a great thing. See, this is what he was talking about. Newsflash, newsflash. You're gonna hear something that you have not heard yet. Like, share, and comment on this video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, because the take I'm about to give you is gonna have you thinking. So I was watching this economist. He's like a modern day economist. He happens to be of Asian descent. I'm not sure if he's Chinese or Japanese, or, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna leave his video down below. And he broke this down so eloquently, and it's totally outside the box. And I think Trump just shot himself in the foot, okay? I think the US just shot themselves in the foot. And here's the reason. Number one, let's start with this 90-day pause, and let's be realistic about what's about to happen. It's April right now. The stocks are plummeting. Yes, they increased just a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a downward trend, okay? So the stocks are continuously plummeting, okay? It's April. 90 days takes us to May, June, July, when this pause is up, when people have time to renegotiate and see if they want to side with America, or if they're going to have quote unquote hardened, stubborn hearts towards America in President Trump's eyes, okay? But here's the thing that was laid out. The fact of the matter is, this 90-day pause, America's expecting, in their very, prideful white supremacist mentality, they're expecting, this is a very capitalist, prideful mindset, but pride comes before a fall. They're expecting that the world's gonna just bow down and submit and be like, oh yes, we just, we're so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, la 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 la. That's what they're thinking. But what's really about to happen, what could happen, is that in these 90 days, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the EU, and every other country in the Southern Hemisphere, as well as countries in the Eastern European Hemisphere, can get together, coordinate, collaborate, and work together closer to crash the US dollar. Because here's what Donald Trump didn't tell you. The US dollar is currently plummeting despite the global trade tariffs that he put in. But this isn't even the worst part. It gets better or worse depending on who you are and what you believe. Next, number two, our next point is China just said today, Friday, April 11th, today, that they're doing 125% reciprocal tariffs at the US. Boom, bam. Now, what does this look like in the next coming months? Everybody loves to use ChatGPT. You might as well put this prompt in and say, with these new 125% reciprocal tariffs in America, hitting America from China, what does this look like in the next 3 to 6 months? And the reality is, it's gonna look like this. Americans are not going to be able to buy Apple products anymore in America. They're gonna be traveling outside of the country to get cheaper products. They're gonna quickly realize, okay, I can't stay in this country and get products at an enjoyable, decent rate, so I'm gonna have to go elsewhere, either on vacation, or they are going to be literally leaving the country, or they'll be doing both. Perhaps they start on vacation and then they realize, oh snap, I just spent some time in Mexico, I just spent some time in Ghana, I spent some time in Botswana or Kenya or Tanzania, and realize, oh, the cost of living is much cheaper outside of America. Oh snap, my US dollar can take me further. Okay. Now let's move on to topic number 3 in this segment of the video. Now, for our next point. really wish people could see what's happening. I wish our community could see what's happening. And I understand that only a small amount of the people in America are even going to be able to understand this, because most people, the knowledge gap is too big between the poor and the rich, and there's not going to be a middle class. The knowledge gap is too big. And so it's like you're speaking this language to people and they have no idea what you're talking about. So it's like you're just not going to get in till it's too late. Here's the facts. The US dollar is plummeting. I checked. 1 Mauritian rupee to USD, it's 1 USD is 46 Mauritian rupees. Guess what? Over the last 2 days, it went down to 44. Now, I'm in an economy that even as the US dollar decreases, I still have a bit of leverage, because we chose an economy that's not necessarily close to being a super top first world country. But if this is what happens after just a few days and a few weeks of global trade wars, what do you think happens to the US dollar? Okay, now the next issue that we have to talk about as we're talking about the currency is the gold issue, or the gold solution. We invest in gold. We invest in gold through our investment accounts, okay? We love to invest in gold, especially this past year. We've got some amazing increases through gold, but at the end of the day, you need to know how to read technical analysis and understand the charts, okay? But gold has hit an all-time high. It's at about $3,100 for an ounce. Now, what this means is that this is going to destabilize the US dollar, because the US dollar is not going to be as strong. People are going to look for alternative currencies. Gold is one of those currencies, okay? With gold being one of those currencies, that means that the US dollar is not going to be as strong as it once was. Hence, what we're seeing right now, where the US dollar is decreasing, trading lower, and gold is higher. EU dollar higher. How do I know? Well, my husband's a trader and he lets me know these things and tells me, oh snap, things are changing pretty quickly. We keep an eye on the market. Now, we also have the issues we just talked about, the trading and how the markets are changing, currency fluctuations, US dollar is steadily plummeting. You know, America believes this is going to be the best thing, but I do not believe it is. Bible prophecies says it's not going to be the best thing. And at the end of the day, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Dubai, Indonesia, everybody in the southern hemisphere and in Africa and Asia are going to collaborate and return to their ancient kingdom statuses, and it's going to decimate the US economy and the US dollar further than it's already decimated, because we know it's already decimated. The stock market has crashed literally 2 times in the last month, like literally in the last month. And so I don't want to talk about all these problems without giving you a solution, okay? Let's talk through solutions together. Now, I've been in Africa for 5 years and will continue to live in Africa. I'll continue to live outside of America probably for the rest of my life, to be quite honest, because my husband and I, we saw this coming years ago and wanted to divert. Proverbs says a wise man foresees trouble coming and maneuvers himself out of the way. So that is what we did. Number 2, if you are seeing everything that's happening and you have the ears to hear, the eyes to see what I'm saying to you, this relates to you. You've been on YouTube University, like, okay, best countries for blacks to move to, best countries for Americans to move to, best countries for whatever you want it to be for. Oh, thank you for saying hi. You're so kind. And you've been searching on YouTube University, Google School, whatever you'd like to call it. You have been on these internet streets searching for a solution. This is probably why you came across this video. And at the end of the day, you are so focused. You and me, we're like right here. You know, you're like, sis, I don't know how yet, but I'm going to figure out how to get my online business off the ground. I'm going to figure out how to make my business thrive in a recession, and I'm going to invest where it matters. I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely live your dream life in Africa and anywhere in the world, especially if you're in the southern hemisphere, where you have a 60 to 70% lower cost of living. Your children can go to school easily. Listen to our Mauritius Africa playlist, okay? This playlist, I just updated it this morning on my rooftop in my villa, okay? I just updated it and told you what it's actually like in this country, telling you, hey, it's not expensive. You know, social media, American media would have you think that everything is so difficult outside of America. And I'm here to tell you straight up, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. They are lying to you, okay? That's what I'm here to tell you. And so, you know, some people say prepping is a solution. Some people say going back to work is a solution. But I'm here to dismantle both of those beliefs. Prepping is not a solution because at the end of the day, you become a target in an economy and a society like America. When stuff hits the fan, people are coming to your house to jack you and your family up, okay? Sorry to put it like that, but let's be real. Number two, aside from prepping, going back to the 9 to 5 is not a solution. Let's talk through this. At the end of the day, at the very end of the day, you cannot trust a 9 to 5. A lot of people this year, because we've already been in a recession economy in the West, they're like, okay, my business isn't doing as well. Let me go get that 9 to 5. They got the 9 to 5, you know, by the grace of the Most High. We haven't dealt with this for nearly a decade, but a lot of people went back to the 9 to 5 only to find out they were laid off. I keep seeing these videos on my timeline. Tech workers laid off, this worker laid off, that person laid off, Fed layoffs. They're going to continue these layoffs because they want to replace you Americans. Doesn't matter, black, white, Mexican, Chinese, Japanese American, you could be any American you want, but they want to replace Americans with robots. Understand that. Same thing is happening in some countries in Asia. It's not as popular in Africa. Africa values humans and humanity, okay? That's why I live on the continent of Africa. They want to replace you. So let's sit together and let's brainstorm for your next 5 to 10 years and say, okay, if we know they want to replace humans, if we know they do not want you to own real estate in the States, if you know the hyperinflation is going to increase, if you can take this reality, if not, it's okay for you to click off. I'm here to speak to the people who want to be in reality so that they can make better decisions for right now that their family can reap in the future. We're talking about people who align with getting things ready to the 10th generation. This is strong language. This is strong faith. This is Caleb, Joshua type faith level, thinking 10 generations ahead. This is for these people, period, okay? So back to what I was saying. If we know all these things are true facts, we can look at the data. All you have, if you don't believe it, just ask everybody's best friend ChatGPT the 3 points that I just gave you, and ChatGPT will lay it out real well for you. Really, really well. And so this is reality. Now that we have this base understanding, you and I together, that this is reality, now let's talk about how to maneuver through this. 1, you're gonna leave America straight up, for a fact, unapologetically, saying this on this channel, 1,000 billion%, you're gonna wanna leave America. You're not gonna wanna be there when things get even more tense than they already are, okay? Number 2, now that we have that in our brains, next, you're gonna want an online business. You're not gonna want to just have a brick and mortar. That brick and mortar can tank. Retail is tanking. When you get your supplies from China, they're now at 145% higher rates, both sides trading. I wish I had some tea. I would sip it right now because I need you to understand this, okay? This is why I say online education consulting business. Plug for Black Educators Amplified. Check out the enrollment guide in the description. It's an 8-week accelerator coming up April 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Once 3 spots are taken, that is it. Finished, okay? Check it out. But listen, retail, Alibaba is not going to do well anymore. Amazon is not going to do well anymore. Retail is going to crash completely on both sides with these tariffs, okay? Especially in America, and it's not going to affect the rest of the world the way that Americans think it will, because the rest of the world is more community oriented, more graceful, more patient, more kind. All of these things. Now, moving on, we have leaving America, getting an online business, next investing. Your money should not be rotting in your bank account. But if your money is sitting there and you're like, well, let me just save, stash. If your money's not having babies, so to speak, if your money is not multiplying, replicating, having little other money babies for you, then your money is rotting, especially with the US dollar going down. I had just placed a call yesterday in SoFi. If anybody knows calls and puts in trading, it was phenomenal. You can make money in the market, whether it's going up or down. Whether US dollar is up or down, we're going to make income because we know the skill associated with it. And it is a difficult skill, a challenging skill to learn, to be quite honest. This is why people will invest in the market, gold, Bitcoin, you know, whatever it is, trading, whatever, but they don't have the skill of technical analysis. Without the actual skill, you're throwing money at the wall and hoping it's gonna fly and jump into a tower of bigger money. Without the fundamental skill of technical analysis, it's going to be difficult. And so this is why I say the knowledge gap is too high, guys. The knowledge gap is too high because wealthy, rich people that leave an inheritance for their children the way my family did and my husband's family did, they're educated, they're knowledgeable, they're not lazy, they're not just waiting for life to happen to them. They're proactive at getting things done. That means reading books. That means acquiring knowledge. That means investing in courses. That means doing things that are challenging. Like, dang, I just placed a call that was a risk, but I gained 45% of my investment back. Okay? And so you can do the same thing, but you have to understand that it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes resources, quite frankly. Period. It does. And so I think it's so heartbreaking because I continue to see the knowledge gap in business and entrepreneurship and finances. And I'm telling you, the middle class is going to be gone in 5 years, if not less. There will be no middle class in America. Mark my words. I'd hate to tell you this, but it's the reality. It's the truth. And I'm here to warn you so that you can make the right decisions for your family. The middle class in America is not going to exist. It's either people are going to be super poor or super rich. There's going to be no in between. Now, I was going to save this for another video talking about the cost of childcare in America. People pay $1,800 per month in daycare expensive. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you're paying in daycare expenses. And private school out here is $130 per child. And they visit volcanoes. They do taekwondo. They do gymnastics. They do kickboxing. They get all their subjects. Somebody's lying to y'all about the West. I hate to break it to you. Somebody's lying. So it's like, focus, get tapped in with those who are in a position that you want to be in. You can find any mentor, any coach, any consultant that you want, but make sure it's somebody that is in a place, living the lifestyle, and is doing something that you want to be doing in the future. Make sure they're stable. Make sure they have a track record. Make sure you can binge their content to learn about them, okay? So feel free to watch the Mauritius Africa playlist and binge that, or the Black Educators Amplified playlist and binge that playlist. Either one, shalom, shalom. I hope you learned from this video, and I hope you make the challenging decisions that don't necessarily feel comfortable and don't necessarily feel like the funnest thing to do, but nonetheless, they're decisions that are going to catapult your trajectory and change everything to the 10th generation. Shalom, shalom.